Hi students, today I am going to teach you simple, compound, complex sentences. So there are three types of sentences: simple, compound and complex. It's very important topic. So that please pay attention. For example, before going to learn simple, compound, complex, we must know important basics. What is phrase? This is an important one. What is phrase? Phrase means what? You know, group of words. Phrase is a group of words which has the meaning but not complete meaning. Which has meaning but not the complete meaning. And another important one is there is no subject and no verb. You understand? So again, phrase means group of words, no subject, no verb. That is what we call it phrase. For example, seeing a tiger, that is a phrase. You understand? Seeing a tiger is a phrase. And another important basic point is clause. That is also an important one. So this clause is also group of words. You may ask me, sir, both in the phrase and clause, both are group of words, sir. Is there any difference? Absolutely. It is also group of words. It has meaning but not complete meaning. It has also meaning but it has a complete meaning. But another important point is here there is no subject, no verb, but in this there is subject and verb. So that's an important concept. What's the difference between the phrase and clause? Group of words and group of words. Here there is no subject and verb are missing here, but in the clause subject and verb are included. So if a group of words, subject is there, verb is there, that is a clause. Without subject, without verb, it's a phrase. So why I insist you before starting the simple, compound, complex, you know, these are the two important points we very much we needed to learn simple, complex and compound. Understand? So again tell you, phrase means group of words, no subject, no verb. So seeing a tiger, that is a phrase. Here there is no subject. Don't consider seeing is the verb. You understand? Seeing is not the verb. There is no subject here. Subject means he, she, it, Ravi, Gopi, like. There is no subject. Here clause is group of words, a subject. He ran away. This is the clause. Why I said this is the subject, this is the verb, so that it is a clause. You understand? So these are the two important points before we go for simple, compound, complex. We must know this. Otherwise we can't understand simple, compound, complex sentences and other. So another one. Okay. Go for the clauses. So we have two different clauses. Clauses are two types. One is subordinate clause. Second one is main clause. Subordinate clause and main clause. What the difference between the subordinate clause and main clause? Already I teach you what is a phrase and what is clause. So clause means group of words which has a meaning, which has subject and verb. But come to the different clauses we have. Two types of clauses, that are subordinate clause and main clause. So in the what is the difference between the subordinate clause and main clause? Both are clauses, but there is minor difference is there. Subordinate clause is not a complete clause. It depends on another clause to give the full meaning. Main clause can give individually the meaning itself. So so for example, we know it's it's the best example you understand. If you work hard, so this is a clause. How you tell? This is a subject, this is the verb. So that first of all it is a clause. Okay, right. Subject and verb, so that if you work hard is a clause. Okay, it's okay. But what kind of clause is this? Whether it is subordinate clause or main clause, how can we decide? In this clause is off meaning, incomplete meaning. If you work hard, what? You will pass, you will get good rank. What we need some other sentence to give the meaning. So if you work hard is an incomplete clause. Even though it is a clause, it is incomplete, so it is a dependent one on other clause. So that this is a subordinate clause. What clause? This is a subordinate clause. If you work hard, what will happen if you work hard? You will pass. For example, you will pass. Since this is also a clause, since subject and verb is there, this is also clause, but it can give the meaning of its own. Without depending on any other. So without this sentence we can give the meaning. You will pass. It's very simple. It individually gives its meaning. But if you work hard is incomplete, you will pass is a complete. So the clause which can give the meaning of its own is main clause. The clause which can't give the meaning, incomplete meaning, that is subordinate clause. You understand? Is it clear? So what is subordinate clause? What is the main clause? Main clause means both subordinate and main, both are clauses. But subordinate clause is of incomplete clause. Since it needs to give full meaning, it depends on another clause, another main clause. So that this is a subordinate. You understand? Main clause is not like subordinate clause. It can give the meaning of its own directly. That is main clause. Okay. What the names we can call these subordinate clauses and main clause? So we can call subordinate clause or dependent clause. We can call main clause principal clause or complete clause. Main clause, principal clause or complete clause. Subordinate clause we can call subordinate clause, dependent clause or incomplete clause. Any of the name we can call subordinate clause, dependent clause or incomplete clause. Come to the main clause. It's a main clause, principal clause or complete clause. So any of these names we can call the main clause. Here onwards I call subordinate clause and main clause. If I use the different clauses names, you may get confused. So here onwards you clearly listen to me. Subordinate clause and main clause only. Mostly I won't use these dependent, incomplete and principal. You may get confused. You understand? So so that you please call subordinate and main clause only. Thank you very much.